Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Uncooped podcast. This is episode number 13. If you guys are new here, my name is Taylor. I run a small backyard chicken farm here in central Minnesota where I specialize in silkies and high-end rainbow egg layers. Tonight, we got a great guest lined up here. This is someone that I've been looking forward to chatting with for a while now. I'm very excited about it. But before that, I want to let everyone know this episode is actually going to be sponsored by Eaton Pet and Pasture. If you guys are looking for a new alternative bedding, hemp bedding, they are the number one source for hemp bedding. I highly recommend it. Super absorbent, no pesticides. They got great products. They also do grubs. They have some great nesting pads that I use for all my eggs. I love them. So shout out to the sponsor tonight, Eaton Pet and Pasture. Thank you guys for sponsoring the episode once again. Tonight's episode, we got Cody from the Foggy Bottoms Boys. He runs a farm where he specializes in, he's got dairy, he's got lambs, sheep. I mean, he's got it all. So we'll let him introduce a little bit more himself. So Cody, what's going on? How are we doing?
I'm great. How are you tonight?
I'm doing so well, man. This has been something I'm looking forward to. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to chatting.
Yeah, definitely, right? For the people that don't know you, give us a little introduction about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Cody Nicholson Stratton. My family has been farming on the north coast of California since the 1860s. We originally were a dairy, and then we progressed into beef cattle. And then when my husband and I returned to the farm in 2014, we came back with some chickens that went into, that has grown a lot. And we now do grass-fed beef and lamb, which we direct market. We have our dairy, we sell wool and fiber products, and then we have eggs in about 20 different grocery stores, as well as several restaurants and bed and breakfasts.
Wow, that's a lot. I bet
It's
you,
a lot.
yeah, you're always staying busy.
Yeah, I guess, and I should add on top of that, we're opening an ice cream shop right now, and a grade A dairy processing facility. So there's
Wow.
never enough going on. We have to do more.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the ice cream shop. Have you got it open yet, or are you just kind of still in the process of it?
Oh no, we're still in the build out phase. There's a lot that goes into building a grade A facility, and also trying to open a food service restaurant is it's a project. So
Wow.
we have a walk-in cooler now, and most of the refrigeration's all set, but there's still painting to be done.
Oh, geez. Never-ending projects. You just kind of try to work on what you can here and there, right?
Yep, we try to finish what we can, and then wait for the contractors to get to the rest of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That is too cool. So California, man, that's awesome. I actually grew up in San Diego, California. So I knew
oh,
you were
you're
on the West Coast, but I didn't know you were in California.
Yep, I'm up in Humboldt, so opposite end of the state.
Yep, definitely.
Almost the Oregon border.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you moved away and then you came back there and then you took over a little bit, or?
Yeah, so what I did, I graduated high school in 2006, went to Oregon State as a rangeland ecology major and soil science. Planned on not coming back to the farm, was going to go to law school. Took a gap year before law school, and then decided to, be the son that came back. I'm an only child, so there was no one else really going to do it.
Yeah.
But instead of coming directly back, I actually worked in niche meats and agritourism for 4 years as a poultry division director for a multinational company doing
Okay.
commercial poultry. We raised 9 species of poultry for meat and egg production, and then worked in a USDA processing facility that the company owned 1 day a week. And then decided corporate agriculture was not for me and moved back to the family farm. I was kind of deciding if I wanted to go back now, make the jump back to law school, or was going to take another job elsewhere. And at that point, my grandfather was ready to retire. So we ended up buying out his portion of the business and went into business with my parents. So now we run the farm in conjunction with my parents. They have very little interest in social media or marketing, so
Yeah.
we are the more the face and the marketing arm of the business. My dad's really passionate about cattle, so that's where he stays, is the beef and dairy cattle, and then I do a lot with the dairy and the sheep, and Tom does chickens and ice cream and markets.
Awesome. Okay, so you guys all have your individual roles and kind of specializes in what you can work on.
Yep,
Yeah.
playing to all our strengths. So
Exactly. Yeah, because your background, this is kind of just leading up to the perfect kind of situation for you. This is probably, I mean, in my eyes, this would be a dream for you.
oh, it's great. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it, and I get to be outside all day and doing
Yeah.
the things I want to do. It's great. It's absolutely perfect. I swore we would never have poultry again after working in commercial poultry, but
Right.
Thomas loves birds, so that was short lived. And now that we have them again, I actually do really enjoy them. So
Yeah, you got a really cool setup. You got kind of like it's like a moving tractor kind of thing set up where you have rotisserie, like I want to call it like a conveyor belt for the eggs. I was watching you on the
yeah,
live, your videos.
yeah. So we have two mobile coops. We house about 1,400 birds at a time
Wow,
between the two coops. Yeah, it's a lot of
that's a
sexlings.
lot.
And each coop is, it looks like a giant like hoop house, greenhouse on wheels. And they have hard plastic floors. So the manure falls through. They can hold about 2 tons of feed each, couple hundred gallons of water, and then they're
Wow.
solar powered. So there's solar panels on the roofs that open the 4 doors. There's 2 doors on each end that ours close at sunset, and then they open 30 minutes later for like 5 minutes for any stragglers to get in, and they close, and then
Oh,
they open at 7 a.m. in the morning is when the birds are let out, which gives us time to go move the coops without birds running around. And the feed is also conveyed through all solar powered, and yeah, and then a little crank conveyor belt for the eggs is
I
amazing because you
love
can
that.
just like set your trays at the end and you just crank all the eggs to you. Our 4-year-old is the master of the lower level ones. He is really good at
Nice.
cranking them. Not great at putting them into the flats correctly, but definitely can crank them to him. So
That's too awesome. Yeah, I love your videos with your son running around. He seems like he just loves the farm life. He's just a little perfect little farm kid.
oh, he's like a wild little farm kid. He's
Yeah,
just running all over the place constantly. So
it's
yeah,
so cool. And
it's a
when
perfect setting for high energy.
yes, exactly. Yeah, he's like a little like mini Australian Shepherd. That's what we have. So
Absolutely.
and when you raise like kids around like that lifestyle, that you teach them a lot more responsibility, a lot more care and compassion for the world. So, I think you guys are doing a really good job. And, I wanted to let you guys know you guys are rocking it for sure.
Well, thank you. We hope we are. So we'll see how, I guess, a few years, proof of concept will be down the road, but
Right.
we'll
Right.
see.
No, you guys are great parents, and you guys are adorable family.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's super cute, so he really carries the weight for all of
he
us.
carries the weight, right?
Yeah.
So your social media, you said that you run that. You're killing it. Let's just say that you're doing great. You have a separate page too, like, well, not really separate, but you kind of have like on your TikTok, it's the
Un-
unorthodox farm daddy,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a separate Instagram that's also the Unorthodox Farm Daddy, which
Okay.
is
Okay.
separate from Foggy Bombs Boys. Some of the
Yeah.
stuff transitions over, but
Sure. Sure.
yeah. So Foggy Bombs Boys was really started to kind of advocate for agriculture and LGBTQ representation in ag,
Mhm.
um, and that grew into a brand, which was how we ended up with like our whole business model being Foggy Bombs Boys.
Yeah.
Um, and then Unorthodox Farm Daddy. Yep, there it is.
Got you
Unorthodox
up
Farm
here.
Daddy, I started during COVID
Okay.
on Instagram, and it was supposed to be more like an intersection of LGBTQ and Jewish and farming life, kind of
Yep.
all the things that make me who I am.
Right.
And so it started out as like a lot of like challah baking because I do a lot of like crazy challahs for Shabbat. And then when I decided to finally jump onto TikTok because people kept telling me to do it,
Yep.
Thomas didn't really trust that to be a Foggy Bottoms brand thing, just knowing who I am as a person.
Sure.
So he was like, "Why don't you make that Unorthodox Farm Daddy?" And so that became the TikTok was Unorthodox Farm Daddy, and then
Okay.
I finally went back to my Instagram and started using it again a few weeks ago. So um,
Nice.
and yeah, I'd kind of neglected it, but so we have we're all over the place. We have the TikTok and the Instagram, and then we do
Mhm.
Facebook as well, and targeting each one to the different audiences a bit,
Yeah.
especially with Foggy Bombs Boys, depending on who we're trying to reach and market towards.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Social media is a huge source of, you know, getting those eyes on you, potential income, profits, and all that stuff. So I think you're doing a good job with that. Yeah, you got 160,000 on TikTok. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. A
Yeah,
few videos went viral, and it's amazing how that happens. But
yeah,
um, yeah, and then we find most business gets driven from Facebook actually,
yeah,
which is direct sales. So uh,
sure.
more people locally follow that, so we can sell a lot of beef and lamb through there. But and it seems like a lot of people that buy our eggs follow us on Instagram. So
That's interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
you did a really good job also with the packaging. I love the packaging, the egg cartons with the little rainbow. Oh, that is so
Oh
cool.
yeah. Well, you got it. We wanted it started out during Pride Month. We just, thought we'd add a rainbow sticker to our
Yeah.
cartons during Pride Month a couple of years ago, and it just became like a mainstay because once Pride Month ended and we stopped putting them on, people kept asking where they
Where they
were,
go?
and yeah, and then we found out that a lot of people were actually pulling the sticker off and putting it on things. And so now we'll be driving around the county and we'll like see our little rainbow stickers on like stop signs and stuff, and we're like, oh,
Nice.
that's from our eggs. So
Yeah,
we just ended up keeping it on year round now.
that's awesome. Yeah, that is too good. Yeah, you got to go with it. What the heck?
Oh yeah, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
we've really, embraced our brand is really kind of who we are as people. So we were like, we're just gonna wrap it all into it.
Go all in. I love it. Just
Yeah,
embrace who you are. That's what I'm all about too. Just why hide who you are? It's just it's not
no,
needed.
absolutely, no, not at
And
all. So
thankfully, we are getting to a point where this world is a lot more accepting of all cultures and all types and everything like that. So TikTok is huge with it too. TikTok is a great community. There's so many cool people on there. I met you through TikTok. I found you through there,
yes,
and we just connected. And I followed you on Instagram. Then I was like chatting a little bit. I'm like, I gotta get him on the podcast.
I'm excited. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was like
yeah.
it was got me through my morning interview. So I was excited. I was like, I have a podcast to be on. That'll be fun.
Heck yeah.
So
You're on a radio interview or something. You said.
yeah, I was on a NPR at Capital Radio this morning for the
Sure,
cattle
sure.
industry. So it was
Oh,
not
geez.
as much, not as laid back and as fun. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
more business oriented.
Right. No, we're all laid back here, man. This is all chill.
Yeah, this is great.
Uh,
So
yeah. Yeah. So like coming from your world to my world, I'm all about like I'm just like so low, like low scale, and you got 1,400 birds. I probably got about 80 right now, but it's kind of cool to like we still have a lot to compare and relate with too as well. So
well, I mean, I think when you're in, it doesn't matter what scale you're at. If you're in agriculture or livestock or poultry, like there's common ground in everything, no matter what breeds you raise or what their purpose is. Like you have that common thread, that like sense of purpose and that drive,
exactly.
and that
We,
passion
we
for the animals.
exactly take care of the animals. They take care of you. Treat them with the highest respect. That's kind of how we do it here.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. You treat them well. You do. I'm sure they get a kick out of all your funny videos.
Oh my
Shearing.
God. Yeah. Oh man. This poor animals. They're over me some days, I think.
Is there like a certain few of them that you always just like pick to choose because they're easy to work with and they've done a few videos for you in the past?
Well, yeah, I mean the show sheep are always like the
The
best ones.
sheep. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
the
gonna
sheep, and the horned rams. We have the horned Dorsets, and they're just like so impressive. So I always try to incorporate them. The Jennies, which is what we call the laying hens,
okay.
are surprised. Yeah, Jenny from the flock. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah, they're so all 1,400 are Jenny, but they are surprisingly laid back. So it's pretty easy to just like walk out into the pasture and scoop one up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think it's probably having a 4-year-old that's obsessed with them and like goes out and is always picking them up and like packing 2 or 3 of them around them. That they're just like they're over it. They're just like whatever.
Yeah.
You can
They
pick me
don't
up and
they don't
carry
mind
me.
now. This is normal.
Yeah, it's totally normal. It's like whatever. Someone's coming out here. So
What breed are they? Is it all one specific breed that you raise for the
so
chickens?
we have so we actually have 3 breeds of chicken.
Okay.
So we have golden sex links, or the
Yep.
the ISA brown sex links, and then we have a commercial Easter egger. So I'm not actually sure what the strain is. They are so they look like a leghorn basically,
Okay.
and yeah, so they're solid white. They're just like they look like a standard production leghorn, but
Yep.
they're an Easter egger. And so we have those. And then we also have barred cochins, which are not in the laying flock. Those are our, yeah, no, there's a few, not many of them. Those are our son's little project chickens. So he'll be taking his rooster to the fair in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
All the hens have chicks under them currently because they are super broody. So yeah, so he has his little barred cochins that he is obsessed with, and that's like those are his project. He takes care of them and feeds them, and so they're not productive.
Right.
And we're always, like on the fence of like, why do we have all these cochins when we're in the business of producing eggs? But they're fun and they're perfect for him, so he loves them.
Go. Yeah, that's cool. He gets to feel like it's his own little project, and he's kind of like looking up at you guys as role models too.
Yeah, and we had chicks in our bathroom the last 2 days, so because none of the brooders are set up, and our brooders are a bit large for like 6 chicks. So it was like we had chicks in the bathroom, which was great. And then a hen hatched some more, so we just like fostered them this morning, so I didn't have to have them in the bathroom any
definitely
longer.
Been there.
But, yeah, so
definitely had chickens in the house before, lots of times.
But I would say the sexlings are definitely our favorite of the breeds that we have. In the past we've tried a lot of different breeds. Thomas is a huge fan of Australorps, but it's hard to get the number of those that we need, so it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, the ISA, like for the hatcheries, they always call them like ISA Browns. There's a couple different terms for them.
Yeah, they've got so many.
They seem to be like the highest production laying. People always swear by them, like every egg a day, every day.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we get an egg a day. I can tell you we don't, but we get a high rate of lay. And of course, like in a pasture setting, your production declines a little bit because there's, the environment impacts them a lot more than if they're enclosed. And then we struggle with like predation. So that's something that we always have to deal with, is if there's a high stress load, production is going to decrease a little bit. But that's, right now we're part of a study with the university. So they're like living their best life because there is no predation right now.
Nice. And your flock, it's just all hens, right? There's no roosters at all.
No, we don't have any roosters with our laying flock. So
is that like kind of like a standard where you have to keep no roosters for fertilization, or?
No, it's just roosters are just they're so basically from like a business standpoint, if we're looking at like the roosters, they take up perch space and they take up, they're consuming feed and they're not actually giving anything back to like the business. So it's one more animal unit that the hens have to carry from like a cost standpoint. Right. So we tend not to have roosters in the laying flock if we can avoid it.
That makes sense.
Obviously with like the cochins, there's roosters there, but not in the laying flock. We try not to. And with bad attitudes, or it's not like you're breeding them. So if you have roosters that are aggressive, can be challenging, especially with a 4-year-old. So with the cochins, we have a lot more control over what's happening, so we can make sure that the roosters are friendly and not a problem for him to like wander in and mess with.
There could always be some of those testy roosters that will peck your leg or cut your leg open pretty easy.
So the 4-year-old's like Silas is like obsessed with birds right now, so we want to encourage that as much as possible. So we're really going through the challenge currently that rams can be mean in the sheep flock, and so him understanding that he can't just like go out into the ram pastures or the show ram pens in the show barn has been a real challenge for the last 2 weeks, as we're like going to the end of breeding season and there's ewes and heat all around. So everyone's a little on edge currently.
Right. How do you store all of your eggs? Do you go through them pretty quick, or you have like a long shelf life, or?
No, so because we market as farm fresh, we have to do everything has to be sold within 30 days. And so our eggs, we're washing eggs twice a week. We wash on Monday and Wednesdays. That's just when we have the available help to get everything washed. We can do about 1,400 eggs an hour through our egg room. Yeah, it moves pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then we, all those eggs are going to the grocery stores on Friday. So they're being restocked. And currently they're selling out before we restock again the next week.
Very
So
good.
like
Nice.
everything moves really fast. Yeah, we are never taking back inventory, which is
Good.
fabulous.
Yes,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, the request every week is for more cases of eggs, but there's a certain amount that we can produce, and that's it.
Yeah.
So what
It's
we've had to actually,
you know,
yeah, you can only have so many birds; they can only lay so many eggs. You can't squeeze more out of them.
exactly.
So we've actually had to cut back on the number of grocery stores that we stock just to be able to like increase inventory at some of the other ones.
That
So
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
What are your legs? Or sorry, what are your eggs labeled as? Like pasture free. What is the term that they have them labeled as?
Oh, so we do ours as they're pastured,
Yeah.
and we don't, so they're not certified organic
Okay.
or humane. So we don't do
Yeah.
any of the certifications with them.
Sure.
Our price point's already so high that
Yeah.
the cost of certification just makes it inaccessible to a lot of people. So we try not to do
Exactly.
that. Yeah, so they're pasture raised, and
Nice.
then because we sell only locally,
Mhm.
everyone's pretty familiar with our story, and so like they know like who we are, what we're doing,
Nice.
and they can drive by it down the road and see the chickens if they want. So it makes it pretty easy to market what are we doing as a farm.
Oh, that's a dream right there. Some
Oh
people
yeah,
struggle. Some people struggle to have that marketing or that kind of like that connection with the food and everything like that. So just, top hats off to you guys. You guys are doing awesome.
well, thank you. Yeah, we're trying. It's kind of a
Probably a
grind
lot of
every day.
hard work.
Yeah, it's I was just having this discussion today about how much work social media actually is.
Right?
It's it's not just like throwing a picture up. It is a lot of like creating the content and managing the content, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's not just a quick straightforward thing. So
Yeah. And then there's also that side of social media where, it plays in your mental health a little bit where it's like, oh, well, you judge others like, oh, why are my views not, views are,
oh
it's
yeah,
not, but it does get to you eventually.
it does. Yeah. And then it was like, I don't know, I had this decline. I've had a decline in views on TikTok. And I was like, they redid the algorithm, and I'm not going to create like the kind of original content that TikTok seems to really want because
Yeah.
I'm so busy. I just don't have
I
time
know.
for it. And
Same.
I'm like, if I'm making content for TikTok, it's because it's the sound and I want to like goof off and lip sync and be ridiculous. And so it's all more like I had to have this moment where I was like inwardly like this is about what I enjoy, not about
Yes.
like if I get views. And so I'm just gonna do this for fun, and if it like people like it, cool, and if they don't, that's fine. And then you know I just kind of go from there. But
Yeah. I have
and
that
and
same
most of our
exact mindset too, where it's like,
yeah
what's the point? Play with this algorithm. You can do it. Okay, yeah, you get a good one here and there, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like it's a video journal of your life, and you get to look back and be like, oh my god, I remember that moment, or that was a funny
yeah
video, or whatever.
it's fun. I know periodically I find myself like scrolling back through
Yeah,
videos, especially like from like last lambing season. I'm like, oh, these are so fun. Like
yeah,
and like it's fun to like kind of look back at them. So yeah, I'm just like as far as that I try not to judge myself. I kind of take the same approach to farming. Like we
mhm,
farm a little differently than some of our neighbors, um, and I always remind myself, and I've like we always talk about this like you never judge yourself over the fence because like what's happening on their side of the fence is totally different than what's happening on my side of the fence.
exactly.
It's a different management practice, it's a different farm, it's a different business. Like it might look all glorious over there, but I have no idea what their cash flow is, and so I shouldn't be like concerned with what's happening there. So yeah, I might have more weeds in my field, but like I'm doing my own thing, and I also
Mhm.
have some really cool finches. So like we're just like we'll just roll with it. So
Yeah, exactly. That's what
yeah,
makes us all individual and unique. And what you were just saying too, like you never know what the other person's goal is. Maybe they just want like that simple life, or maybe they want to be a billionaire or whatever. It's like what
yeah,
we're all individual, we're all different, but then at the end of the day, we have a lot more in common than we do separate. Different.
yes, absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
no, I enjoy social media. It is a good like
Yeah.
for me and a good outlet because I'm on the farm 24/7. So
Yeah. It's easy when you have all these like amazing animals. You got beautiful land there. Just snap a video or something fun. You're doing lip sync, who cares?
yeah, no, it's great. And I'm sure my neighbors think, well, I know my neighbors think I'm like a little crazy sometimes because they're driving
Right.
by and they're like, oh, and he's at it again. So,
He's on the tractor with some short shorts or something crazy.
oh yeah, oh man, yeah. I walked in the feed store the other day and like they have a coffee club. There's like a bunch of the older farmers like get together, and one of them was like, I saw your TikTok yesterday. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, great.
You're like, did you like it?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm wearing the same shorts now that I wore in that one. So like I'm not ashamed to wander around in short shorts.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone probably knows you in town, definitely.
Oh, I mean, it helps that it's a town of like 1,200 people, so they kind of
Right.
have to know me. But yeah, they definitely like most people know like the social media side too. So
Yeah. You bring some sunshine to that's town for sure.
I hope so.
So the Foggy Bottoms, boy, how did you come up with that name? Is your town like really foggy or something? I thought I
It
saw.
is,
Yeah.
yes. So we have two seasons, wet and wetter. Yeah. So right now we are in the wet season.
Okay.
So yeah, we will be like we can be fogged in for days on end, and it'll just be like gray and foggy and just like the fog is so heavy that it feels like it's raining. Like it looks like it is raining, but it's just fog and mist. Um, and
Crazy.
so like the valley that we're in is referred to as the Foggy Bottoms, and
Okay.
so our herd of jerseys is registered as Foggy Bottoms jerseys, and I think it was in 2014 we were showing the cows at the fair, our county fair, and a bunch of the other dairymen just started referring to my husband and I as the Foggy Bottoms boys because it was, we're the Foggy Bottoms jerseys, and they're like, oh, it's
Yep.
the Foggy Bottoms boys are over there. And so we decided like, well, we'll just run with that because at the
Yeah.
time our Instagram was Gay Farmer Problems was our handle.
Okay.
And so it was like, well, we'll just convert that into Foggy Bombs Boys and kind of start running with it. And that's sort of how we like rebranded. So Foggy Bombs Boys as a brand or a company actually is now an LLC, and it that handles like the marketing of the grass-fed beef and the lamb and all
Sure.
like owns all the chickens. But then Nicholson Livestock is like the farm that business that actually like runs the dairy and everything. It's just
Okay.
we do all the actual like marketing, branding for the product as well as the agritourism because we do agritourism on our farm as
Yeah.
well. So we host like 10 to 20 tours a week on our farm.
Wow.
Yeah. And
What do they do?
percentages
What
of
kind of tours are like? They just come see the facility, see the animals, or
yeah, so we do actually three different options. So there's a 45-minute tour, and that's just like you kind of go through the life cycle of a cow. So you like check out the fields, you go through the calves, like kind of
nice.
as they would mature up into the milk barn, see the milking facility. Ideally, it's set up so you're there during milking, so you actually get to watch part of milking,
Okay.
see the cows being milked, and then you go to the egg room, you check out like egg processing, how that all works. There's another option where you basically get the tour and you do a cheese tasting. So the company that we sell our milk to makes cheese, and so you do like a charcuterie board. And
Nice.
then we do also a dinner club, which is like you do the tour and then you pick a cut of meat that you would like to learn to cook. And you grill in our backyard and you go harvest vegetables out of our raised beds and you prepare your meal like under either us or an employee supervision, and they'll kind of teach you how to cook everything and how to like properly grill steaks and season them and temp them. And so
Awesome.
yeah, which is all really fun, but also
Yeah,
a ton of work. So
a lot. I
but
can't even think about the logistics to handle that.
no, I mean, but what we found is like there's so many people that are, a couple of generations removed from the farm now, and they
Yep.
really want to connect with agriculture. They want to connect with food. And so this is like a great way for them to come. It's amazing the number of grandparents that come because, their grandma and grandpa had a farm and they want to bring their grandkids to a farm so they can experience what a farm is like and see farm animals. And so
Yeah.
that's always kind of fun to help like bridge that generational gap from farming.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And you're already doing like you already have it there, so you might as well just like, probably just another step of the setting up all the tours, but you already have all the animals there, so why not?
Yeah, I mean everything's here, so you might as well like come and check it out, right?
Exactly. So it's just another little step of that of your business, extra route of revenue of profit.
Yeah,
You got
yeah. I
so
mean
many different
everything
revenues
exists.
coming in your way. It's insane.
Well, that's the goal is to be diversified. So we only milk 100 cows, which is pretty small on a
Mhm.
dairy size, especially out in California.
Sure.
And so you diversify so much that you have multiple revenue streams. So that way, if one market's down, you have something else that's generally strong. So
That's
it keeps you
awesome.
pretty resilient and sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if anything happens, gosh forbid, anything, one of your sources of income go down, you got the other ones backing it up and you can, work on, put a little bit more effort into another one or wherever need be.
Yeah, you can always pivot to something else. So that's kind of the try to remain as nimble as possible.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, out here in Minnesota, it's really hard to the whole chicken stuff. I really wanted to make it like a full business and everything, but having like 4 to 5 months of just freezing cold temperatures. I mean, it's you got to put a lot of money into like a facility, a heated, some kind of big thing, and I wasn't there yet, so I just do my little small setup, and I got multiple different things that I'm working on. I raise behind me. I raise I breed reptiles and snakes. So
Okay, I was wondering with the
yeah, yeah, that's my ball python breeding setup. So I do ball pythons, and then I do I raise feeder rodents,
oh
quails. I'm kind of getting into the more the feeder side. Actually, I'm going to be going pretty hard on the rats and rodents and stuff like that. So
oh cool.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and you also have really cool silkies. So I mean,
yes, silkies are like I will always have a silkie forever. Silkies, I have a
oh
whole pen of them, and I raise and breed them. That's definitely my favorite, probably favorite animal.
they are cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I have no shade for silkies. I think they're kind
right.
of awesome birds. So
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely some difficulties with them being like it takes like 3 to 4 months to even like sex them, and then they don't lay as
they're
much, and they're broody all the time, or they'll stop laying, and there's all these
they
things. But
they have their challenges, but they're still beautiful and cool. So
exactly, they sell themselves. It's easy. I post them on Facebook, and they're gone within 20 minutes.
perfect. That's
Yeah.
my favorite kind of animal to sell.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I need them to lay more eggs so that it can hatch more.
There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
that could be part of the breeding program, right? Like higher
Yes.
egg production silkies.
Exactly. Yeah. Just mix in some different ones in there, try to get some higher. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like to dabble in different like small scale like breeding projects. Like I have I am Samanis that I mix with the white leghorns, and that video actually took off pretty crazy. It was we call it the zombie chicken. It's
Yes,
basically
yeah.
the white and black.
That one was super cool.
Yeah. So now that video inspired me. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm just gonna do like a little breeding setup where I'll throw the I am Samani. I just have one I am Samani rooster, and then I'll throw that chicken in there, and I have a bunch of leghorns and some I am Samani hens in there. I'll just throw a whole little zombie pen or something fun.
Why not? I might as well,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah. It did good on the
zombie
video.
fiction's popular, so
Exactly. Everyone was like calling them like goth chickens or chicken noir or something like that.
oh
So
my.
it was funny.
I mean, the marketing options are endless here, so
Exactly.
it's clearly something you got to go with.
Yep, yep. Yeah, the marketing side of like the Instagram and TikTok really like hit with me hard. I was like, you could just make videos about like yourself and your brand, and you could potentially like, get customers. And if you have a product to sell, it's insane.
It's amazing how well it works.
I think every business needs to like be on like Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, at least one of them. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how. So one of the things we do is we work with the Chamber of Commerce
okay.
a lot locally, and our economic development bureau here in Humboldt, the
Sure.
county we live in, and we do like work with other like local companies on developing their social media platforms
Wow.
because yeah, there's a couple of different businesses that have really great social medias, and so we like work as a group to kind of help the other businesses in our county lift up their social media accounts and develop
Nice.
them. So
Yeah,
yeah, which
that's
is super fun.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah. Why not help each other out and get more exposure on it for, very little money if you can do it at free almost.
Yeah, I mean, and like I feel like almost every store or every brand has some cool story to tell. It's just like it's the reality. Like I find myself doing this all the time. I'm like, there's nothing interesting happening here. It's like, well, no, there's like tons of interesting things happening. I just think
Yeah.
everything is like normal everyday activities. And it was like, we have a local bakery, and they're like, well, nothing, like all I do is bake cakes. I'm like, no, you literally like you bake cakes. Like that's so cool. Like you can make
Yeah.
such amazing content out of frosting cakes and baking cakes. And they do. They like make really cool content now about, their bakery, and it's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. I love that sense of it where it's like, just put a little effort, get a little creativity in there. And I mean, you can make
Yeah.
anything fun videos about anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there's always something cool that's going on that
Yeah.
you can like capitalize on and share. So
What
I love
what
it.
does your husband think of all your videos and the social media side? Is he's kind of more on the background of that, or he participates in the videos,
He
obviously, but
participates, yeah. So like he's definitely, as far as like I do a lot of the social, it's actually really funny in that I am definitely the introvert of our relationship and he is like the extrovert. So he is the one that's on like a lot of boards. Like I'm very involved in like the cattle industry side of things, but like he is more like he's involved in a lot of community organizations and he's like often doing like public speaking engagements and like he's like going out to meetings and I'll stay at home with the kid and I'll keep him like I don't need to go to that
oh,
dinner.
yeah, yeah,
And it's sort of funny because like he also runs, so he runs like the business stand, like from the business end, right? Like, so he does like a lot of the bookkeeping and the business administration
yep,
and the marketing parts that aren't like social media, but the actual marketing, which is what his like degree is in.
sure.
And so
Oh,
he
nice.
tracks so he actually tracks like the analytics. I like, he's very involved in like actually looking at the analytics, seeing like what's trending, when should we be posting, he's very concerned with like click-throughs and how many people like follow a video to a purchase on our website, and so he
Oh,
like
nice.
tracks all of that, whereas I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't know, there was a lot of follows.
Yeah,
Like this video got a lot of likes.
yeah,
Like it's like, yeah, but there weren't click-throughs, like they didn't go and buy anything. I was like, well, I don't know, like seems like they liked it. So
yeah.
it's a really good balance, but
That's
he'll
awesome.
he'll participate.
I didn't know that he was so involved in that. That's really cool.
Yeah, he's in the background. Everyone
Yeah,
doesn't generally see him on unless I like drag him into it. Also, like, I find making content with your spouse is sort of like working cattle with your spouse. Like you never
yeah,
know how strong your relationship is until like you have to do one of those things together, because like it never goes quite as planned. And also, like I go into it with a very like set idea of what I want to do, and he's like, we should do this, and I'm like, don't
no,
change my plans. Like this
yeah.
is not me.
You just have to do
So
this one thing. Just do this.
just do this. He's like, what if I do this? I'm like, no, don't look that way, look this way. And so it just, we still work it out and do
Yeah,
videos together periodically. So
yeah.
we've
There was a
figured out
couple.
how to
There was a couple
go
cute
ahead.
ones where you guys were like kissing or something, and when in the milking or something like that. That one was really good. I
Oh
liked
yes, and we used to do a lot more dancing videos together.
it. Yeah,
We've just been like super busy, and so right now with the whole store thing, trying to like find time to actually dance together can be challenging. But
right,
we
right.
need to do more of those because those are fun.
Yeah. Is it challenging? Working a business with your partner?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, because it's like a business with family, right? Like there's competing opinions and thoughts, and
Mhm.
then at the end of the day, like it's not like a coworker that goes home. Like
Yeah.
you go home with each other, so it can be challenging, and you know if you get annoyed with each other, like you have to be able to like leave the like work annoyance at the door when you like come into the house to eat dinner. So
Exactly. Yeah. Put that away. At least make some time for each other and, work
yeah.
on your relationship.
Yep, and it can't just all be like business. It has to be,
Mhm.
you're actually a couple in a relationship too.
Yeah. 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 Because me and my wife, we're going through our LLC kind of getting what for our snakes right now. So, we're going to
Okay.
be business partners with Nat. And, she's a super great support. She basically started all this animal stuff for me. She grew up with 4-H, and she went to like an ag high school and stuff like that. So she did all the breeding projects. She had Nigerian dwarf goats.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we still have like 8 of them left, but she's just kind of inspired me on the animal side. And then I took it to just the next level where I got obsessed. I did the social media side with it. And when I go in, I go all in.
As happens, like you get really obsessed with it, and then it just like explodes.
Yeah, you start finding all
Yeah.
these different things. Like, what, chickens aren't just red? Like, you can get silkies, and you can get all black chickens and blue eggs.
Everything.
It's just insane. Yeah. Do you guys have
Yeah,
any
so
other birds at all?
we don't. Oh, I should actually. We have ducks.
Ducks.
There are 4. We have 4 ducks.
Okay.
So there are ducks. Waterfowl are kind of one of my least favorite poultry.
Yeah, me too.
So when I worked in commercial poultry, I really we raised geese and ducks, and like, but we raised like hundreds of geese. Which like I have never been pooped on so much in my life as like when you're trying to like gather geese for harvest.
I can't even imagine.
It was awful, terrible. So they waterfowl are not my favorite, and Tom loves ducks, and he wanted them to eat the snails and slugs because we're on the California coast, like banana slugs are just everywhere. And they just destroy our garden. So he wanted them. So we had bought some runner ducks to train one of our border collies with. He was the 4-H program coordinator at the time. A little kid didn't want their drakes. He brought the drakes home. Runner ducks aren't supposed to be broody. Ours were incredibly broody. So we went from like 5 females and 2 drakes to over 90 ducks by the end of summer. Like they just kept hatching ducks, and they were like getting out on the road, and they were into everything. And so it became known as the duck situation because there's just so many ducks.
Too many.
So we ended up, too many. We found some, there's a Laotian community here in Humboldt, and they were very happy to, like, some members of the community were very happy to come take the ducks. And they harvested them and for their families, and I was very happy for them to, all 90 of them, to go. So we had a short period of time, well, like 2 years, where there was like no snails just because of the whole duck situation, like knocked everything back, and then they started coming back. And so the neighbor brought, everyone drops things off as tiny farmers, which is our son. So they claim that they're for him. So they dropped off 5 ducks for him. The drake disappeared. And not my doing, but he did disappear. So there were no babies. And so we had 4 hens. We were down to 3 hens, and then somehow we ended up with a call drake, like a little buff call drake that is running around now. So he has, like, we have 3 buff duck hens, and then a little buff call drake running around.
Nice.
So, which is super cute because everyone, like, our 4-year-old's convinced that he's their baby. So we haven't illusioned him of this yet. So, but so they just like march around the dairy imperiously. They're kind of funny.
Nice.
Yeah, but otherwise we don't have any other birds. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
If I were to ever get ducks, I would like to get called ducks. They seem pretty cool and like lower maintenance than just regular.
Yeah, they're pretty low maintenance. I don't know. We've done turkeys in the past, but those weren't conducive to farm harmony. They caused a lot of drama and upset a lot.
They seem a little drama.
A lot of family members. Yeah, they upset a lot of family members with their antics. So we've not
big too.
They are, yeah. Birds. And we did them for Thanksgiving. They were a great, like, marketing them was awesome, but it was just a lot of work. So
sure. Yeah. You got any big plans coming up for the future? You got the ice cream store you're opening.
So ice cream store is opening. Yeah. So the back of the house is dairy processing. So we'll be pinting ice cream for the local grocery stores. Also making soft serve mix for several restaurants in the county. So they've already lined up for us to make their soft serve mix. So just going to the machines. Then we'll have the front of the house is actually like food service. So it'll be ice cream shop as well as like sandwiches. And it's retail space for all of our products, like the
Oh,
beef, the lamb, eggs. And
perfect.
we partner with some other local farms too. So we carry like their glass bottled milk.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so that's all going to be in the front of the house. It's actually kind of really cool. The town that it's in is going through like a revitalization. So they were down to two or four businesses on Main Street was all that were left, and two of those were government. And now, like, we took out a lease on a building, and then immediately someone opened up. Well, it's in construction currently, but will be opening probably before us even a coffee shop. And then
Nice.
like another building's been leased, so it's kind of going through this whole like resurgence, which is really
Yeah.
cool to see it, like their Main Street revitalizing. Um, and there was no food available in the town, so that's awesome too. So there's like access now. And then in addition to the like ice cream, we have 500 chicks coming this month, so that'll be
Ooh,
fun. I'm sure there'll be
nice.
lots of chick content.
Yes. I
So I'll
look
be
forward
back in the
to
brooder. Yeah, I'll be back in the brooder with little yellow chicks.
that.
Um, and we have the Oregon State Fair is well, our county fair is in like a week,
Okay.
but we don't show that many at our county fair, despite the fact that it's 5 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days after that's done, we'll be going to Oregon State Fair. So,
Oh, so fun.
which we're hauling a lot of sheep to Oregon State.
Oh yeah, are
And
you?
then, yeah, yes. So there's 18 head of sheep going to Oregon State, which will be,
Wow.
yeah. So, and then it's like wrapping up the market season.
Yep.
So,
Yep. That's the
yeah.
big kind of like the big end of the year, kind of almost hurrah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll wrap up market season and we'll move more into the retail locations. So our
Yep.
store being open and deliveries.
Oh,
So
that
we
is so
do
cool.
front door deliveries. So yeah, we'll kind of wrap up markets and move into the other avenues of marketing.
Nice. Nice. It sounds
Yeah.
like you got a
So
really good plan going on. It's really, it's inspiring almost. It's just, people are just so stagnant nowadays and content with just like being okay and just like their normal day life. But not you, man. You're just like reaching for the stars.
well, sometimes I feel like we should just be like content with what's happening
Yeah.
because
Oh,
like there's days where I'm like,
yeah.
there's so much going on.
No,
So
it's hard to catch your breath sometimes, I'm sure.
yeah, well, I mean, like today the Kubota broke down, so it was like a whole thing of like just trying to like find time to get an ATV to the shop in and of itself.
Oh my
But
gosh.
you know, yeah, but no, so that's our end of our summer season in a wrap.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Sounds like you're going to be ending the year good and going into next year even stronger. So just bigger and better
We hope
things. Yeah.
more chickens.
Yes. Right. Right. Do you have like a cycle where you like for your chickens? Do you have like a certain amount of time that they kind of get as like in their prime, and then you move on to like these new 500 chicks, like a
Yeah.
rotation?
So usually what we'll do is we would cycle them out after two laying cycles. So our generally we band all of our birds. So there's a different, they're color coded. So each
Okay.
year has a different colored like band.
Sure.
And so we'll cycle them out after two seasons usually.
Sure.
So right now, because of the demand, we probably will not be cycling out our hens. We'll be keeping the third cycle hens this year.
Oh, yeah. Just because you
In the
need.
past, yeah, we need the numbers.
Yeah.
And in the past, what we've done is we've bought like we'll buy pullets at the point of lay. So sometimes we brood. Sometimes we are able to line up buying like 1,500 birds at once that are all within 2 weeks of starting their lay cycle. Which is great. Like it's so nice. Other than you're training them to roost, and you're training 1,500 birds to go up in the coops at once, which is a nightmare.
That's insane.
There are not enough high schoolers that want to go out and put chickens away at 9 o'clock at night. Let me just tell you that straight up.
Right.
So we're going to be brooding this round though instead. And then when we cycle our birds out, our spent layers usually go, what we do is most of the time they go to other farms
Nice.
that are farmers market farms, and usually they don't need them to have like as high a rate of lay, and
Yep.
so we can sell them hens that are still productive at a pretty like really low cost, and then they don't have to deal with brooding chicks, so they can just restock off of our birds, and then they
Yeah.
keep them for several more years.
That's insane. It's actually a really good process, because then you're still at the end, you're still actually making some money off of them with you already made
Yeah.
the money off the eggs too,
Yep. And so we recover some of their actual initial cost,
Yep.
and we don't have to deal with, there's nowhere that processes
Processing.
poultry
Yeah.
in Humboldt. So we don't have to deal with processing
And
ourselves.
as like you said, for production, you want them as strong as you can, but like people that are not like super high demand of eggs, they still got a couple 2 to 3 years that they'll be laying, still strong for that, quality of
Absolutely.
life.
One of the farms we supply is actually a flower farm, and so they use them mostly as pest control because their major concern is pests on the flowers.
Yep.
And so they just keep they have all these areas set up around their flower fields where the chickens can go that they don't get into the flowers, but it helps just reduce the insects that eat flowers. And then they just market so they're the eggs are incidental in their business model to actual pest management. So it's sort of like whatever they get for eggs is great, and they can sell them, and they're into grocery stores, and it's super cute label, and they do this great job, but they don't that's not what their business is about. So if the hen only lays 2 eggs a week, that's not a problem for them.
No, they're probably not even tracking it.
Nope, they aren't. They're just we get eggs, we wash eggs, we sell eggs. It's what happens.
I love that. That's funny.
Yeah, every business is a little different.
Exactly. That's what makes it all unique. And I learned a little bit from you tonight too. So it's been really cool. I appreciate chatting with you. For the people that want to ever reach out to you, what's the best source of reaching out, checking out your pages and whatnot?
Yeah. So you can find us at Foggy Bottoms Boys. So bottoms and boys are both plural. On Instagram and Facebook. Our email is info@foggybottomsboys.com. So you can email us there. Our website is foggybottomsboys.com. You can check out everything that we have going on as far as what we're doing locally and then what we ship. And I think and then you can, find me on TikTok and Instagram as the Unorthodox Farm Daddy if you want to see more thirst traps and Jewish content.
So, I highly recommend that page for sure too.
I'm there for fun. So.
Yes. No, you got a great aura and energy about you. So I know you're going big places, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on.
Before I get you out of here, I got some hot seat questions. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got some just quick answers. Nothing too complex. All right.
Okay. Perfect.
First one: cooped or uncooped?
The
chickens. Uncooped. There we go. Uncooped, right?
Yeah, uncooped.
This one's probably a little bit more different for you, but pellets or crumbles? Because
crumbles. Yeah, so we feed a crumble.
Perfect. There we go. Rainbow eggs or browns and whites?
Oh, rainbow all the way.
Yes. Favorite type of bedding? Chicken bedding.
Chicken. Well, I mean, my favorite is the hard plastic flooring in our coops because everything falls through, so I don't have to clean bedding.
Definitely, and pasture.
And pasture.
Yes. And last but not least, but dream animal that you wish you could have if you could have it.
Oh, so I secretly have this desire for a Scottish Highland cow.
They're so cute.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but I just really want one.
Yeah, I could definitely see you getting one day.
I think just for the content alone would be amazing.
I know that's a selling point right there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much once again. I look forward to seeing all your funny videos and seeing where you go with your new endeavors. And I can't wait to see you on there, man.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and keep your content going because I'm enjoying it. So.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Likewise, man. You're inspiring me. So let's rock it together.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right. I'll just shoot you out, and then we'll chat right after this, man.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's it. Another episode. We got this. We're keeping going. Unfortunately, we didn't get one of our sponsors didn't go through, but we're still rocking with this. I'm not pushing off the pedals at all. We got some great guests lined up. I've been really enjoying all the chats, and thank you to everyone that has been on, and thank you for everyone that is willing to come on. If you guys have any suggestions on anyone that you guys want me to reach out to or see on the show, shoot me a message. follow, like, and subscribe. Please. Chakra Chickens. My snake page is Chakra Scales. And then we got the Uncooped podcast on Instagram. So thank you guys again. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.